Welcome to another Forestry Friday video. My name is Beth Hill, and today I will be focusing on soils for tree planting in an urban setting. There's obviously a very close relationship between trees and the soils that they grow in. The soil is the storage place for water and minerals, which are needed by the tree to live and grow. The soil also provides a base for the tree to attach itself firmly in place. The roots, reaching out for water between the soil particles, serve to anchor the tree as well. These factors influence soil characteristics like texture, color, depth, pH, fertility, salt, and the ability to hold water. Because each tree species has different needs, it's crucial to know what kind of soil they require to grow if you want the best results. The issue that comes with many urban sites is that many urban environments have had some sort of excavation or soil disturbance. Construction can cause soil problems in urban areas because these activities often alter the soil profile and change soil characteristics. Most often, developers will attempt to recreate the soil conditions that were there prior to excavation, creating separate piles of topsoil and subsoil and putting them back into order. However, this still breaks up the natural horizons that we see in a normal soil profile, as well as disturb the soil pores and structure. On soil maps, these soils are even listed as orthents, which essentially means human disturbed infant soils. Moving soils such as grading, clearing, and excavating influences drainage and aeration. This reduces water availability, and we can see increased soil compaction, which in turn makes it difficult for tree roots to penetrate. Sometimes other fill material is brought in to level foundations, which can have less nutrients than were naturally found there. Our parent material, or the bedrock and other materials soils originally formed from, can often have high pH and can have salinity issues as well, making these sites less than ideal for tree planting. In North Dakota, much of this development for cities and towns are on the outskirts in that wildland-urban interface. These were often used as agricultural land and prairies before development, so we end up seeing our little tree saplings battling harsh conditions like wind, bare soil, and water erosion. All of these soil conditions can lead to damaged or restricted root systems, temperature extremes, and issues with water availability. However, not all things tree planting on urban sites is doom and gloom. These trees add tremendous value to our homes, cities, and parks. They are essential green infrastructure. They line our boulevards and add value to our property, attract business and give our communities character, add beauty and interest throughout the seasons, provide ecological services like habitat and cleaning air, and improve the health of all of those who live, work, and play around them. So it's important that we still plant trees on some of these tough sites. We just need a little extra planning and some extra love and care. And I like to mention, same in my last video, the 5 soil forming factors are also at work in our soil profile, changing and forming our soil material every single day. Because we can't rely on web soil survey or other tools to know about our soils in urban areas, the next best thing we can do is to take a soil test. The best thing is to get to know your soil. The better you understand your soil, the better you can understand what tree would do well in your site. And you can understand if you have issues in the future as well. It's a relatively easy and inexpensive way to set your trees up for success. You get a baseline for your site, know if you're deficient in any major nutrients, know what your pH is, and it will help you so much down the road. You can get these at your local garden centers, and there are also some soil testing labs that you can send these off to as well. Another tool to utilize is knowing the history of your site. You live there, so you should know it better than anyone. Is there a spot where trees and grass just consistently don't perform well? Learn more about why that is. Ask questions, do some digging. Is there grass around the tree that you have that receives consistent fertilization and watering? That can help us figure out the amount of management that will or will not need to be given to that tree. Did that site used to be a feedlot, so maybe the soil is over-fertilized from that old manure? That can actually help you understand what you need to do to remediate it. Does that site get waterlogged in the spring? That can help you select a tree that is right for your site. My last tool for you is going to make you get your hands dirty, and that's by what soil scientists refer to as the texturing by feel method. Each soil is made up of different amounts of sand, silt, and clay, and that determines what we call our soil texture. Estimating or measuring soil texture provides valuable information about soil properties that affect the growth of our trees. Soil texture affects the movement and availability of air, nutrients, and water in the soil. I will start off by saying that this does take a little practice. I have included a step-by-step instruction on how to do the soil texture by feel method in the description for this video for your reference. For the texture by feel method, you will begin with a small handful of soil. Add a bit of water to that soil and squeeze, mixing the soil and the water until you get a consistency that's like Play-Doh. Next, roll the soil into a ball or cylinder and place it between your forefinger and your thumb. Push the ball between your fingers in an upward motion, forming a ribbon until it naturally breaks off. That length of ribbon will determine how much clay is in your soil sample. A ribbon with less than 1 inch will be a type of loam. 1 to 2 inches is a type of clay loam, and greater than 2 inches is a type of clay. If you are not even able to form a ball that keeps together, you have a type of sand. A soil with a lot of clay, like a clay loam or clay, usually has smaller pores and can hold a lot of water, but in turn can be wet or too wet for a longer period of time. A soil with a lot of sand has bigger pores and water readily runs through the soil profile, but on the flip side may require additional irrigation to have successful tree growth for some species. Lastly, there is a lot of literature out there to determine which species are best for these tough sites in North Dakota. The North Dakota Forest Service has a resource called Recommended Trees for North Dakota, and NDSU has their tree selector tool, which both show species and cultivars that are tolerant to conditions like drought, alkalinity, and flooding. So even though we don't have the capabilities of Web Soil Survey to guide us on our tree planting decisions in the urban setting, we do have other tools and insights to help. Understanding the limitations and characteristics of our tougher urban sites will help us set our trees up for success. For more information on trees and forest management, you can visit the North Dakota Forest Service website. We also have an Instagram, a Facebook, and our YouTube channel for Forestry Fridays. We put out new videos every Friday.